The night was already wrong before Relin Voss reached his home. The sky above the settlement flickered, as if the stars themselves were blinking in fear. Wind scraped along the metal roofs, carrying a deep, uneven sound that did not belong to the weather. Relin slowed his steps, one hand tightening around his tool bag. Out here, far from the city lanes, sounds usually meant trouble. His porch light was on. Relin was certain he had turned it off that morning. He stopped several meters away from his house. The small wooden structure leaned slightly to one side, old but sturdy. Shadows moved across the porch floor, wide and heavy. Then he heard it again, a long breath, slow and painful, like air being dragged through fire and stone. Relin swallowed. He was a mechanic, not a fighter. His hands fixed engines, not threats. Still, he forced himself forward, each step louder than the last. When he reached the edge of the porch, the smell hit him first. Smoke. Burned metal. Blood. The shape lying there was impossible. A dragon filled the porch, its body curled tight as if trying to make itself smaller. One wing hung off the side, torn and darkened. Its scales were cracked and dull, no longer shining. Each breath shook the wood beneath it. Relin stood frozen. Dragons were not myths. Everyone knew of them. Sky tyrants. Planet breakers. The rulers of the upper war lanes. They never came to human ground unless something was about to die. This one looked like it already was. The dragon's eye opened slowly. It was large, deep blue, and tired beyond words. It watched Relin without fire or threat. Just awareness. Relin's first thought was to run. His second was that if he ran, the dragon would die alone on his porch. He did not know why that thought hurt. Carefully, slowly, he set his tool bag down. He raised his empty hands so the dragon could see them. The dragon did not move. Its breathing rattled, rough and uneven. "You're bleeding," Relin said, his voice shaking. He felt foolish talking, but silence felt worse. The dragon's eye closed again. That was answer enough. Relin stepped inside his house, heart pounding. He grabbed his emergency kit, water packs, heat sheets, and every repair gel he owned. When he returned, the dragon had not moved. Blood had soaked deeper into the porch boards. Relin knelt near the torn wing. The heat coming from the dragon's body was intense, like standing too close to a reactor core. Still, he worked. He cleaned what he could, sealed deep cracks with gel meant for ship hulls, and laid heat sheets along the dragon's side to keep it stable. The dragon never attacked. Hours passed. The night grew colder. Relin brought blankets, knowing they were useless but unable to stop himself. At some point, exhaustion dragged him down. He sat against the wall beside the door, listening to the dragon breathe. Above the clouds, far beyond the settlement, the sky burned. Massive shapes moved through space, wings cutting through stars. Dragon fleets surged in widening circles. Their leader was gone. Their signal lost. Without him, treaties shattered and old enemies rose. The Sky Regent had vanished. Back on the porch, the dragon stirred. Relin woke with a start. The dragon's head had shifted closer, its shadow covering him. For one terrifying moment, Relin thought this was the end. Then the dragon lowered its head and rested it carefully on the porch floor. It was sleeping. Relin stared. He had expected many things. Fire. Death. Fear. He had not expected trust. The dragon's breathing slowly evened out. The painful edge softened. The heat around it became steady instead of wild. Whatever strength it had left was now resting, not fighting. Relin let out a long breath he had been holding all night. He did not move. Morning came quietly. The sky lightened, pale and thin. A few neighbors peeked from windows, then quickly hid again. No one came close. No one asked questions. Some things felt too large to speak of. Relin brewed weak tea and drank it cold. He watched the dragon sleep. Up close, he saw old scars beneath the scales. Deep ones. Battle scars. This dragon had not lived a gentle life. "You must be tired," Relin whispered, unsure why. The dragon's eye opened again. This time, it focused on him fully. Intelligence burned there, sharp and ancient. Relin felt small, like a child standing before a mountain. The dragon spoke, not with sound, but with pressure in the air. Words formed in Relin's mind, slow and heavy. "Why did you not flee?" Relin blinked, stunned. He did not know how to answer properly. He chose honesty. "You were hurt," he said. "And it's cold." The dragon studied him. Its mind brushed against his thoughts, searching for lies. It found none. "Humans fear dragons," the voice said. Relin nodded. Yes. Yet you stayed. Relin shrugged slightly. Someone had to. The dragon closed its eye again. Its body relaxed further, weight settling into the porch like it belonged there. A sense of deep relief spread through the air. Then, quietly, the dragon slept once more. Relin sat there, the rising sun warming his face, unaware that the being resting beside him ruled the skies. He did not know that entire worlds waited in panic for this dragon's return. He only knew that, for one night, he had given shelter. And that was enough. Relin woke to the smell of smoke and metal. The dragon still lay on his porch, its heavy body pressed against the wood. Its scales reflected the weak morning sun, dull but still alive. He rubbed his eyes, trying to make sense of the night. Nothing like this had ever happened to him before. A dragon, injured and massive, resting outside his home, and somehow it had survived. He went inside to fetch more supplies. His small house was filled with tools, old repair machines, and scraps from years of work. He grabbed bandages, more heat gels, and a small patching device he had made for stubborn engines. Everything seemed useless against something so enormous, but he tried anyway. If it survived the night, it might survive the day. The dragon stirred as he approached. Its head lifted slightly, and its eye opened. It was bright, blue, and so intelligent that Relin felt like he was staring at a mind older than the stars. He froze. For a moment, he thought the dragon might attack. But it did not. Instead, it blinked slowly and lowered its head again, letting him work. Relin started with the wing. The torn membrane was still wet with blood, and some scales were cracked along the edge. He applied cooling gel carefully, pressing gently. The dragon flinched but did not move away. Relin realized that it was trusting him in a way he had never known any creature could. He felt the weight of that trust more than the weight of the dragon's body. Hours passed. The sun rose higher, and the air grew warmer, but Relin did not stop. He worked slowly, cleaning wounds and patching torn skin. Every now and then, he whispered to the dragon, telling it small things about his day. He explained how the machines sometimes broke for no reason and how he often stayed late, fixing them alone. The dragon listened, its breathing steady but heavy. At one point, Relin looked up at the sky. Faint trails of light moved far above the clouds. Something was searching. He didn't know what, but he felt it in his bones. Dragons were not just creatures, they were rulers of the sky, feared across worlds. This one, lying helpless on his porch, must be very important. The thought was almost frightening, but Relin pushed it aside. Right now, it needed help, not worry. The dragon shifted slightly, and Relin froze. It was looking at him, its gaze deep and calculating. He could feel its thoughts brushing against his own, a faint pressure in his mind. "You are human," it said, "small and fragile. Yet you do not run. Why?" Relin swallowed. He did not know why. He only knew that leaving it here to die was impossible. "Because no one should die alone," he whispered. He had no idea if the dragon understood, but the eye softened just a little. Time passed again. Food became necessary. Relin had no idea what a dragon ate, but he tried anyway. He cut up meat from his stores, hoping it would help. The dragon sniffed, then tasted cautiously. It ate slowly, almost reverently, like it was learning trust as much as sustenance. As evening approached, the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the settlement. Relin's neighbors noticed strange movements on his porch. A dragon, they whispered among themselves, was lying there. Some wanted to run. Others wanted to report him. But Relin ignored them. He had accepted the weight of sheltering this creature. Nothing outside mattered more than its life. That night, the dragon moved closer to him. It leaned its head against the porch wall, its massive body curling around the edge like it wanted to protect the small human inside. Relin felt the weight again, not just of its size, but of the responsibility he carried. If it died here, he would bear the guilt. If it survived, the world might never be the same. Far above, the sky was restless. Dragon fleets were searching, their eyes scanning planets and moons for signs of the missing leader. Without its presence, entire regions of space teetered on the edge of chaos. Signals flared in distant star lanes. Emissaries whispered among themselves. One lost dragon could not threaten worlds, but one lost leader could. On the porch, Relin did not know any of this. He only knew the dragon was alive, breathing steadily, trusting him. He worked through the night again, adjusting heat sheets and bandages, murmuring small encouragements. The dragon's body pressed against the porch floor, a heavy reminder of the fragile line between life and death. The dragon spoke to him again, its voice like wind across mountains, deep in his mind. "You keep me alive, human. Why? Relin hesitated. He had no wisdom to offer. Only simple truth. Because it's the right thing, he said. No one should be left to die alone. The dragon paused, sensing something in his heart. It closed its eye, resting, its massive chest rising and falling slowly. The porch creaked under its weight, but it did not move. It trusted him completely. By morning, Relin felt exhausted but determined. He knew the world beyond his porch would never be the same. Somewhere, other dragons searched, and a missing leader might change everything. Yet here, on a small human settlement, a fragile man and a mighty dragon shared a quiet trust. Relin understood something new. Humans were small, weak, and often overlooked. Yet a small choice, a single act of mercy, could hold the weight of entire worlds. Tonight, his hands and heart carried the burden of a leader, and he did so without fear. The dragon slept again, its head near his feet, wings stretched along the porch. Relin sat beside it, leaning against the door frame, listening to its slow breathing. Outside, the wind moved across the settlement. The stars began to appear, faint at first, then bright in the cold night. Far above, the sky waited. Relin stayed awake, ready. Whatever came, he would not let the dragon face it alone. He would bear the weight of shelter, no matter what the sky or worlds beyond demanded. And the dragon, silent and immense, slept, unaware of how much trust it had placed in a small human on a quiet porch at the edge of the frontier. The next morning, the dragon stirred with more strength than the day before. Its wings twitched slightly, trying movements Relin had not seen. Sunlight reflected off its scales, showing colors that shifted between silver and blue. Relin stepped closer, careful not to startle it. "You're stronger today," he said softly. "You should try standing." The dragon lifted its head and fixed its gaze on him. Its eyes were deep pools of intelligence, sharper than any human mind. Then, slowly, it spoke, not in sound, but in thought. Its voice pressed into Relin's mind gently, firm but patient. "You have helped me, human. You do not flee from what is powerful." Relin swallowed. His heart raced. He had no idea if the dragon could read everything he was thinking. "I didn't know. I didn't know who you were," he said. "I just did what I thought was right." The dragon lifted itself more fully, its massive wings stretching but not opening. Its body was still weak, but its presence was undeniable. Then it spoke again, this time with clarity that Relin could not ignore. "I am Aetherin, High Regent of the Sky." Relin froze. The name meant nothing to him at first. Then he remembered the stories, whispered legends from the far reaches of space. The High Regent ruled more than just one world. Entire star lanes, trading routes, and colonies followed his guidance. He was the most powerful dragon alive. You are the High Regent?" Relin asked, voice trembling. "The one everyone fears." Aetherin's gaze did not waver. It was not anger or pride in the way he spoke, only a statement of fact. "I am. And yet here I lie, weak and wounded, trusting a human who knows nothing of the stars." Relin felt small in the presence of the truth. This was no ordinary dragon. This was the leader of countless worlds, the ruler of all sky fleets. And somehow, it trusted him. "Why me?" Relin asked quietly. "I'm just a mechanic. I fix broken machines. I'm not important." The dragon's voice came again, calm and heavy. "Importance is measured differently among your kind. You chose mercy, human. You acted without expectation. That makes you rare." Relin shook his head. He could not believe it. "I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't want you to die." Aetherin shifted closer. Its massive head lowered near Relin, eyes studying him. "You have saved me, High Regent of all dragons. And now, the weight of what you carry grows heavier." "What do you mean?" Relin asked, his stomach tightening. Above, far beyond the atmosphere, a storm of wings moved. Dragon scouts had found the trail of their missing leader. Their signals cut across space lanes, each one urgent, demanding, desperate. The fleet searched tirelessly, knowing that their High Regent could not survive long alone. The moment they detected his energy signature near Relin's planet, fleets veered downward, wings slicing through the clouds. Relin did not see them yet, but he felt the pressure in the air. The weight of thousands of dragons in pursuit of one had settled above him. If they discovered the High Regent resting here, on his small porch, it could mean death for everyone nearby. He swallowed, panic rising, but the dragon's presence steadied him. Aetherin shifted, raising one wing slightly. It was a test of strength, and of trust. The dragon could have taken off, leaving Relin behind, but it did not. It waited. You could leave, Relin said. You don't need me. Etherin's mind brushed against his thoughts, calm and deep. I could leave. And you would survive. But I stay because of you. Your small mercy has value far beyond your understanding. Relin shivered. He had never felt so unimportant and yet so powerful at the same time. A dragon's trust weighed more than a mountain, and he carried it without knowing. The porch creaked under the dragon's massive weight, but it did not move. Etherin's chest rose and fell steadily, its eyes locked on Relin. You are more than a mechanic, human. You are a guardian of life, as few in the galaxy are. Suddenly, a shadow passed across the sky. A loud roar echoed from above. Relin looked up and saw shapes slicing through the clouds, scouts from the dragon fleets. Hundreds of eyes searching, engines humming in controlled fury. If they saw their leader here, if they realized a human had kept him alive, there would be questions. Relin's heart pounded. They're coming, he said. Etherin lowered its head, brushing his shoulder slightly. Not all battles are fought with fire, human. Some are fought with trust. What do we do? Relin asked. We wait, the dragon replied, your courage will speak before the skies decide. The scouts circled overhead, signals crackling through space, searching for the High Regent. Relin felt small and helpless. He had no ships, no weapons, no fleet. He had only himself and the dragon that now trusted him completely. Yet in that moment, Relin understood something new. Power alone did not protect worlds. Intelligence alone did not rule. Mercy, patience, and small choices, those were the things that shaped the galaxy. The dragon slowly lifted its massive body, standing more fully on the porch. Its wings spread slightly, catching the morning light. For a moment, Relin felt the full weight of the creature, of all the worlds it ruled, of all the trust it had placed in him. You believe in me? He whispered, almost to himself. Etherin's mind touched his gently. I do. Relin nodded, feeling a courage he had never known. Whatever came, he would not falter. He would not run. He would protect this dragon, this leader, even if it meant facing the fury of the skies. The wind shifted, carrying the faint sounds of approaching dragons, searching, scanning, urgent. But Relin did not flinch. He understood now that truth lay beneath the wings, not in the power of fire or fleet. Beneath those massive wings lay a trust that could change everything. And Relin held it, steady, as the sky waited. The sky darkened with movement. Shapes bigger than mountains cut through the clouds above Relin's settlement. Wings spanned hundreds of meters, and the air vibrated with power. The dragon scouts had arrived, searching for their lost leader. Their eyes glowed like distant suns, scanning every inch of the land. Relin stood on his porch, heart hammering. Etherin rose beside him, its massive wings folding and stretching with control. It had regained strength but was still lean and cautious. The High Regent's gaze swept the approaching fleet. Relin felt the weight of thousands of dragons pressing down, silent but demanding. Human, Etherin said, its voice calm in Relin's mind. You must remain. Do not falter. Your choice will be seen. Relin nodded. He did not fully understand, but he trusted the dragon's judgment. The first scout landed near the edge of the field. Its claws dug into the soil, and it looked at the porch, then at Relin, then at Etherin. The dragon bowed slightly, showing respect, but there was tension in its posture. One by one, more scouts landed, forming a circle around the house. Their shadows stretched across the ground. The air smelled of ozone and old power. Every dragon focused on their missing leader, but they could feel the presence of the human who had sheltered him. Step back, human, one of the scouts said, its voice sharp in Relin's mind. You cannot interfere. The High Regent is ours to retrieve. Relin did not move. His hands were empty. He did not have weapons. He only had the choices he had made, mercy, patience, and care. I'm not stepping back, he said aloud. I didn't let him die alone, and I won't let you take him by force. The dragons hesitated. Relin felt it, the surprise in their minds. No human had ever spoken with such certainty in the presence of the Sky Regent's fleet. They expected fear, trembling, and submission. They found none. Etherin shifted slightly, moving between Relin and the scouts. Its wings spread wide, creating a barrier of sheer size. The High Regent's aura radiated across the field. Power, yes, but not anger. Authority, yes, but tempered by judgment. The scouts' leader stepped forward, a massive dragon with silver scales like sharp metal. You dare protect him, human? It said. Its voice vibrated in Relen's chest. Do you not understand the consequences? You guard a ruler whose absence threatens worlds. Relen's voice shook, but he held it steady. I do understand. And I also understand that he survived because I chose to help. Not because of fear. Not because of strength. Because I chose mercy. Itherin's eyes glowed brighter. The High Regent's power filled the space, pressing against the fleet. Listen to him, Itherin said, voice calm but louder than any dragon's roar. This human did not save me to claim glory. He did it because it was right. If you take me by force, you will dishonor the trust given freely, and you will fail. The scouts froze. Their leader's mind pressed against the field, searching for weakness. It found none. It felt something unexpected, something humans often carried in small packages, courage without thought of reward. You defend a human, the leader finally said, disbelief in its voice. Why would the High Regent allow this? Itherin lowered its head toward Relen. Because choice matters, it said simply. Not power. Not fleets. Humans choose differently. That choice is rare among the stars. That choice is worth more than strength. Relen swallowed, feeling the weight of what he had just heard. He was small. Weak. Just a mechanic. And yet, in this moment, he was central to the judgment of dragons who ruled hundreds of worlds. The scouts whispered among themselves, exchanging thoughts faster than Relen could process. Some wanted to attack. Some wanted to withdraw. All of them waited for Itherin's command. The High Regent's eyes swept the field. Let it be known, Itherin said, voice booming in minds across the circle, that humans are not judged by their size, by their weapons, or by fear. They are judged by their choices. This human chose mercy. Therefore, he and his world shall be spared. The air shifted. The scouts lowered their heads slightly, wings folding back. Relen realized they were listening. Not just hearing, but understanding. They saw that the choice of a small human mattered more than the fleet itself. You will not interfere, the leader asked cautiously. You will not harm them, Itherin replied, voice steady and unyielding. Their actions preserved me. Respect their lives as you would respect mine. One by one, the dragons stepped back. The tension lifted slightly, but the sky remained full of power. Relen's heart thumped. He had no fleet, no weapon, no chance in a fight. And yet, the fleet withdrew, influenced by the judgment of a dragon and the courage of a human. Itherin lowered its head again toward Relen. You understand now, human? Your small choice has changed more than this moment. It has shaped the judgment of the sky. Relen nodded, barely able to speak. I just did what was right, he whispered. Exactly, Itherin said. And that is why the galaxy will remember it. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the dragon fleet slowly lifted off, wings slicing through the clouds, leaving the small settlement untouched. Relen watched them go, still trembling, still unsure how a single act of kindness could carry such weight. The High Regent turned its head, brushing its massive snout against Relen's shoulder lightly. You will not be forgotten. Nor will your world. Humans are small, but your choices echo across stars. Relen looked up, the sky wide and endless above him. He thought of the fleet, of the dragons he had never imagined facing, and of the High Regent who had chosen to trust him. A shiver ran through him, not fear, but awe. He had carried the weight of the sky on a porch no larger than his hands could cover. And he had not failed. For the first time, he understood that humans were not just survivors of the galaxy, they could teach it. The fleet had returned to the skies, leaving a lesson written in trust, mercy, and courage. Relen felt the porch beneath him creak under the dragon's weight once more. Itherin lay down, calm and steady, wings folded. The threat had passed, but the lesson remained. Humans were small, but their choices could change worlds. And now, even the rulers of the sky had learned it. After the dragon fleet disappeared over the horizon, silence returned to Relen's settlement. The wind moved gently through the fields, carrying the faint smell of burned metal and dragon smoke. Relen stood on the porch, still trembling from the events of the past days. He had faced the sky's greatest rulers, and yet he was alive. The dragon beside him, Itherin, breathed steadily, its massive chest rising and falling like a small hill. Relen looked up at the dragon, realizing fully now that he had shared something impossible. He had cared for a creature that could have destroyed his entire world. He had protected the High Regent of the sky. And somehow, that choice had changed everything. Itherin lowered its head, brushing his shoulder lightly. In its mind, thoughts spread like calm waves. The sky now understood humans in ways it never had before. Aetherin's fleet, the scouts who had come in anger and fear, would return to their homes with new judgment. They would no longer see humans as weak, or insignificant, or beneath notice. They would see that small acts of mercy, simple choices made without thinking of reward, could carry more weight than fleets or fire. Relin did not know how to respond. "I'm just a mechanic," he whispered. "I didn't do anything special." Aetherin's eyes glowed softly, blue like the first morning light. Small humans often underestimate themselves. Yet even the smallest choices can echo across the stars. The fleets will carry this story. The worlds will remember. The galaxy is changing, not because of power, but because of mercy. Days passed. Word of the High Regent's return traveled quickly through the stars. Scouts who had been sent to capture Aetherin now brought reports of a human who had saved him. Across trading lanes, colonies, and even war zones, dragons shared the tale. A human, simple and unarmed, had sheltered the ruler of the sky. The story spread faster than fire. Many dragons were curious. Some were skeptical. Some were angry that a human could influence events so greatly. But the more they learned about Relin's choices, the more they understood the truth. Power alone did not define greatness. Intelligence alone did not command respect. Mercy, patience, and courage, these were lessons that humans carried naturally, even if they did not know it. Back on the porch, Relin continued his daily work. Engines still broke. Machines still sputtered. The world continued as it always had. And yet, everything had shifted. He now knew that something in his simple actions had altered the galaxy's view of humanity. The weight of that knowledge pressed on him, but it was not heavy in fear, it was heavy in responsibility. Aetherin stood beside him one afternoon, wings folded, scales reflecting the sunlight. "Your people are small," the dragon said in thought, calm but deep. "Yet your choices reach further than any fleet I command. Other races will measure humans by what they choose to do, not by what they can destroy." Relin blinked. "So, we're important now?" "Important in ways that cannot be measured," the dragon answered. "Strength matters, yes, but courage and mercy matter more. You have shown that humans can teach the galaxy to pause, to reflect, to honor life rather than dominate it." The days grew longer. Scouts returned to their patrols, but the story of Relin and Aetherin remained in their memories. They spoke of the human who stood firm in the face of dragons more powerful than worlds, who chose mercy over fear, care over safety. Each retelling strengthened the lesson. Every world that heard it learned that humans could be unpredictable, not in danger, but in wisdom. Relin, for his part, never sought recognition. He fixed engines, repaired broken machines, and tended to simple chores as he had always done. The porch remained the same, creaking under the dragon's weight when it rested, warm from the heat sheets Relin had placed. Visitors came and went cautiously, but he did not care. His world was quiet, ordinary, and safe. Yet he carried inside him the knowledge that humans had earned respect across the stars. One night, Aetherin rose to fly again. Its wings stretched wide, catching the moonlight, casting shadows that moved like waves across the fields. Relin watched, hands gripping the porch railing. "You're leaving?" he asked softly. The dragon lowered its head, brushing gently against him. "I will return," it said. "But not just for you. I will return to remind the skies that humans, small and fragile, can teach lessons that dragons have forgotten. You showed that courage, mercy, and choice matter more than power. Your world will be remembered." Relin nodded, heart full. He understood now that humans were no longer just small creatures on a small planet. They had influence, even if it was quiet, even if it was unseen. They could shape how rulers thought, how fleets acted, and how worlds treated one another. As Aetherin lifted into the night, the wind carried a sound like soft thunder. The stars reflected on its scales, glowing with the weight of centuries of wisdom. Relin stayed on the porch, watching until the dragon was a shadow against the moon. The galaxy had learned something new. Humans were fragile, yes, but their choices could reach further than fire, further than fleets, further than fear. And that lesson, born on a small porch in a quiet settlement, would echo across the stars forever. Relin returned to his workbench. Machines hummed, engines groaned, and the world turned. Yet beneath it all, he felt a new rhythm, the rhythm of trust, courage, and quiet power. Humans could change worlds, not by force, but by the simple act of choosing what was right. And somewhere high above, in the endless sky, the High Regent carried that lesson to every corner of the galaxy. The weight of humans' choices was heavy, yet stronger than anything else. And that weight would never be forgotten. The porch creaked again, and Relin smiled. Small humans, he thought. But small humans can change everything. The sky was vast, but no longer distant.